It was to be the highlight of their season. After a 5-3-3 record through 11 games, the 1941 San Jose State College Spartans would play their final 2 scheduled contests in Honolulu, Hawaii. The team arrived in style aboard the SS Lurleen on December 3rd and enjoyed their first few days in paradise.
They were kind of nice. We had a lot of girls that came down and danced with us and take us to parties. And the college was throwing, had a homecoming weekend or something up there, and they welcomed us. And we thought all these pretty little Hawaiian girls were pretty nice.
The team was having breakfast on an outdoor balcony at their Moana Hotel Sunday morning, December 7th, 1941. Just before 8 a.m., sunny Hawaiian skies turned into uncertainty.
We didn't know what the Japanese planes were flying around. We didn't know what that meant. Nobody said we're at war now.
But indeed, this was the beginning of World War II for America, as the Spartans witnessed firsthand the attack on Pearl Harbor.
What was the emotion that you felt as you see such a beautiful place like Honolulu turned into a disaster?
It took us a long time to absorb all this, even though it was going on right in front of us. And when I saw these airplanes come in with the Japanese pilots in them, I knew that they weren't supposed to be there. So we went outside to see what was going on, and just then, a couple of American soldiers came and set up a machine gun right next to the porch of the Moana Hotel, facing outward, facing toward the sea. So we knew something serious was going on.
A chaotic scene led to even more confusion for Jack and his teammates. From a distance, they watched everything that transpired, but they could not do much about it.
What we see on television, is that what it looked and felt like to you being there?
Pretty much, but the cameramen got much better views of things than we did, believe me. But our job was trying to get away from our coach, because he was the one that wouldn't let us go anyplace. He didn't want anything to happen.
In the days following, head coach Ben Winkleman and his almost 40 young men were now stranded on the island of Oahu.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
By now, the rest of the country knew what happened at Pearl Harbor, but for the players, communication back home to California was impossible, and ultimately a plan to get there was non-existent. It left Jack Galvin with one burning question.
When are we going to get the hell out of here? And we're just a bunch of kids. The only adult is the coach. It was partly an adventure and partly a dangerous situation. That's the way I looked at it.
23 of the Spartans were of legal age, 21 at the time, for enlistment into the military. The rest, including Jack Galvin, instantly became members of the Honolulu Police Department. They were given guns and ordered not to hesitate in pulling the trigger.
Was that a weird situation for you to think about defending yourself?
Yeah, when somebody said I could shoot somebody, I didn't want to do it, but I thought, well, who am I going to shoot? I can't remember anybody arguing or disagreeing with it. We wanted to do something.
By mid-December, the U.S. government had commandeered the luxury liner SS President Coolidge. It was to depart Honolulu on December 19th as the first civilian convoy back to San Francisco. Jack was lucky enough to be on this ship as it arrived to the mainland on Christmas Day.
I remember sitting outside the Golden Gate. People on the shore saw us and they started waving to us. And this was the first convoy now. And as we went down the Embarcadero, the crowd got bigger and bigger until we finally landed.
Relieved to be back, Jack immediately drove to his parents' house in Redwood City. They had no idea he was returning or that he was even alive.
What was that like when You knocked on the door and they opened.
Oh, I never seen my dad in shock. He was almost in shock. He just standing there. He knew I wasn't supposed to be there. But everything turned out fine.
They came for football but witnessed history. Some of the 1941 San Jose State Spartans even stayed in Hawaii serving military duties until 1945 when World War II was over. Now 90 years old, Jack Galvin is a living reminder of all of those who were not so fortunate on a day that will live in infamy.